last month, of course, we talked a little bit about Civil War tokens and what they are and that kind of thing. And I mentioned that there's two books that are pretty much the Bible. These are brand new editions, relatively speaking. They've just come out in the last 3 or 4 years. They're an update of, and I think I may have told you the name, George and Melvin Fuld, F-U-L-D. One's on store cards, and the other is on the patriotics. And again, if you recall, last month we talked about the store cards were, in my opinion, about like business cards. You know, on one side it would have whatever, an eagle or, you know, a general or an Indian or whatever. On the back side, usually then, it would have the business and give, you know, Joe Smith's Grocery, specializing in sweet corn, and then give the location 649 East Main Street, Chillicothe, Ohio. So that's what your store card is. If anybody at all is interested in Civil War tokens, this is the book to get. And if you want to find out how to get it, let me know. They are quite pricey. I don't recall what I paid, but I think it was around $100 for each of these books. The second book is the Patriotic Civil War Tokens by the same two brothers. Again, as with the store cards, it's got a lot of nice explanations, and then it gives color pictures. This is a first. Both of these have color pictures. It tells you all the different varieties and everything. And the most important thing is how to identify the different patriotics. And in the back, it has what they call a die, D-I-E, diagram. And it shows how to identify, like here's Lady Liberty. All of them appear to be the same, but there's like, I don't know, 16 different ones. You have to count the stars, or some of them have Liberty in the headband, or some of them have a different curl or whatever. And so this diagram is priceless as far as identifying your patriotic Civil War tokens. So, and again, last month, I have these over here if anybody wants to look at them at halftime. Last month we talked about there's also the hard time tokens. The Civil War tokens were issued for the most part around 1863. During the Civil War, as you may recall, for Sam's sake, since he wasn't here, there was a shortage of money during the Civil War. Everybody was either hoarding it or was going towards the war effort. And so the stores pretty much started putting out their own small change. And these were basically to represent 1 cent. So then prior to that, and again, I'm going to say, let's just say 1837, there was the hard times tokens. The United States was going through financial difficulties. I think it was considered a depression back in 1837. And Andrew Jackson was very unpopular as president at that time because of the depression. So they started putting out large cents, you know, same size as the large cent, but they again would do the same thing. There would be something patriotic, like I know one of them says mint drop on the back. Don't ask me what it means. And then on the front there'd be maybe a picture of a turtle or Andrew Jackson or something like that. They have their own series of collecting. They have, if you see a number on them, and I'll go back to that. If you see a number like HTT 32, that's specific to that coin, hard times token, and then number 32. Going back to the patriotic Civil War tokens, they are usually identified by two numbers. Let's say 27 / and that would be the front of the coin, or the obverse, / 342. The 342 would be the reverse. And there's all different mixes of the obverse and the reverses, so it's not like there's only one reverse to each obverse. So that's about all I wanted to mention. It is, for somebody who kind of gets tired of dealing with U.S. coins, it's a nice diversion, a nice side category, you know. Yeah, we collect our walking liberties or our silver dollars or whatever, but if you get to the point where you want to do something different, store cards, hard time tokens, patriotics, Civil War tokens, they're all kind of fun and it's historic. To go along with that, I have also found something else. I don't think we have too many foreign coin collectors here. I like picking some up every once in a while if they're older than 1900, and it's just a thing for me. But within that, there's two things that I want to mention, and I'll try and bring some examples next month. But there is, during the early 1900s in Europe, you had Germany pretty much covered a good portion of Western Europe. And they had what was called, of course, states. Hungary was a state. Austria was a state. Mecklenburg was a state. So, again, at that time, the government, you know, things were really bad financially, so the government quit making small coinage. So each state, and including and/or each large city in that state, would issue their own coinage. And very similar to what the concept was with the Civil War tokens, they were called Notgelds. If I understand my German correctly, Geld means money. So Not means it's not money. And what they did is they had some very random, unusual designs in their coinage, but it's really neat. And they also did paper money. And it is, in my opinion, the United States had some nice paper money back in the 1800s. The Notgeld paper money has it beat. It is very colorful, variety of subjects. So if you ever get a chance to look at Notgeld's coins or Notgeld paper money, it's something to think about. The other thing, and I'll wrap it up with this, is similar type thing around the late 1700s in Great Britain. There was no money available, no small change, so manufacturers, cities, whatever, started issuing their own money in the form of a 1 penny or a half penny or a farthing. And those were called Conder tokens. Not like the bird, but it's C-O-N-D-E-R. And it got its name from the person who started collecting them and cataloging them. His last name was Conder, C-O-N-D-E-R. And again, it's a nice variety of subjects or whatever to look at. You know, one may have a druid. I know that's a popular one. A druid on the front and maybe some initials on the back, and say that, you know, it was from London, England, or something like that. But there's a whole variety of different Conder tokens. Again, they're relatively inexpensive. You can pick them up for anywhere from $15 to under $50. Most of them are around $25 to $30. Going back, same thing with Civil War tokens, hard time tokens, the Notgelds. It's fairly inexpensive, and any of those you can start a nice collection with $25 per coin or less. So that gives you just something else to think about. So I I'm going to try and bring in my book of Civil War tokens next month. I'll also try to bring in some examples of Notgelds, both the paper money and the coin, and then bring in some Conder tokens, and maybe we can discuss a little further. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.